Happy Thanksgiving! That's my interpretation of a gobble. The turkey has been reprieved in my house because it's just me and my dog. So I'm going to make pizza dough. But here's the thing. I mean, there's nothing to it. Everybody's made pizza dough. It's flour, yeast, some salt, some olive oil, a little hot water, and bam, you mix it all together in a bowl with a wooden spoon. And there's the directions and the hand kneading method. But here's the reason I've made this right here. Oh, no, it's right here. After all this, transfer the dough to separate sealed containers large enough for the dough to double in size again and keep it in the refrigerator for 3 days. This ferments the dough and creates a rich, slightly sour crust. So, and it says to divide it into 2 balls, and I'm going to freeze one and put the other one in the refrigerator for 3 days. And, you know, it's pizza dough, so you can use it immediately, but I was intrigued. I've never made pizza dough and put it in the refrigerator for 3 days. So I'm kind of, you know me, I'm kind of curious. Got to try it. So I'm going to put all this together because it's like combine the flour, yeast, olive oil, salt, and water in a bowl and mix with a wooden spoon until just combined. And then turn the dough out onto a clean, lightly floured countertop. Using your hands, start to form the dough into a ball. At first, it will be rather floury, and then after 30 seconds, it will be quite sticky. Resist the urge to add too much extra flour unless the stickiness is unbearable. Knead the dough by pushing with the base of your palm, then reforming it into a ball. Continue kneading for 8 to 10 minutes until the dough feels pillowy and has a smooth, stretchy exterior. Then after all that, you divide the dough in half. Using floured hands, gently shape each half into a ball by folding the dough under itself, and then set each one on a floured surface and dab it with a bit of olive oil to keep it moist, and then cover both the balls with a damp towel and allow them to rise for 45 minutes to 1 hour. And that's when, after all that, you transfer the dough to sealed containers. And if alternatively, you can use the dough immediately after the initial rise, though the taste is not as complex. I like complex. I've been called complex. They might have said, what a complex bitch, but they still said complex. So, I'm going to put one in the freezer and one in the refrigerator for 3 days. So this video, even though it's only going to be a few minutes, it'll be 3 days. So here's my flour, my yeast, my salt, flour, salt, yeast, yes. And here's my 1 1/3 cups warm water and my 2 teaspoons of olive oil in that. So I'm going to mix up the flour and then pour in the water and then stir it with a spoon. And then I'm going to flour this whole thing and knead out the dough. So I was always told to make a well. So I made a well, and now I'm getting ready to stir it up. So now I'm supposed to flour an area and scoop that out and knead it, and knead it. So there's my perfectly kneaded dough. And now it says to divide the dough into 2 balls, put them on a floured surface, put a little bit of olive oil on them to keep them moist, and cover them in a wet towel. Okay, there's 2 balls of dough, 2 lightly floured surfaces, a little light brushing of olive oil, covered by 2 wet towels. And now they sit and rise for 45 minutes to an hour. Those look double in size. So they're both going to go into a plastic bag, and one's going in the refrigerator for 3 days, and one's going into the freezer. So it says to put them in a bag that will give them room to grow, and there we are, 2 gallon-sized freezer bags. Okay, here we go. 3 days from now, one of these is going to be pizza dough for me, and the other one's going in the freezer. Okay, so 3 days from now is Sunday, At 2 o'clock, the one will come out of the refrigerator, and that's going in the freezer. Okay, it's 3 days, and now I am going to remove the dough from the container, place it on a lightly floured surface covered with a towel, and allow it to come to room temperature before stretching. So 30 to 45 minutes. Oh my God, check it out. That is fermented. Okay, getting ready. Oh my God, it smells like beer. I mean, it smells good. Now I'm going to just cover it with a paper towel. Okay, I'm ready to do what the directions say. And they say to stretch the dough, place it on a lightly floured surface, and gently press it into a circle, flipping several times and adding a pinch of flour if it is too sticky. Once you have about an 8-inch circle, pick up the dough and gently drape it over the knuckles on both of your hands. Slowly rotate it around, allowing gravity to stretch it into a circle. Do not overwork or fold the dough. If the dough starts to resist stretching, put it down and allow it to rest for a few minutes, at which point it will stretch more easily. To bake, about 30 minutes before the pizza dough is ready, preheat the oven in a pizza stone at 500 degrees. Okay, I don't have a pizza stone. I'm not using cornmeal. And I'm going to place the dough on the parchment paper of a circle pan. And I'm going to kind of bake it first, and then it's just going to be a plain cheese pizza. Nothing fancy. It's so fancy! Okay, so there's my pizza pan, and no, I don't use cornmeal because that's just gross. But this is parchment paper, and yes, I got it at the Dollar Tree, and I spray it with cooking spray, which I got at the Dollar Tree. And it says to press this out into a circle, and now I'm getting ready to put my knuckles under it and let gravity do the rest. Holy moly, that didn't take long. And it's bigger than this. Just a couple of rotations with my knuckles. So now I'm going to put that on the pan, and I think I'm going to brush it with a little olive oil and pre-bake it to firm it up a little bit before I add pizza sauce and some seasonings and mozzarella cheese. It's just going to be plain, nothing fancy. It's so fancy. Okay, so the oven is heated up. It only goes to 450. I can't get it up to 500. But this is oregano, salt and pepper, a little chipotle powder, some turmeric, yeah, and olive oil. So I'm gonna kind of pre-bake the crust, and then I'm gonna add sauce and mozzarella cheese, and you know, nothing fancy. It's so fancy. Okay, so I baked this for about 5 minutes just to give it a little firmness. And now I'm going to put pizza sauce and mozzarella cheese and back into the oven. Okay, there's the sauce. And now there's the cheese. And yes, I got this at Dollar Tree, and the sauce. Dollar Tree has some cool stuff, peeps. How beautiful does that look? It's going in the oven till it's all melted. So I've taken it off the pan and I'm letting it get crispy on the rack. My cheesy pizza, it got a little bit, but I do like cheese anyway. So I'm going to get the scissors and cut me a piece. Okay, what I always say, the proof is in the pudding. So I'm getting ready to take a bite. Oh, shit, it's hot. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll let it cool for a second. Plus, I have ranch dressing. Okay, that's a second. I'm just going to take a quick bite. Okay. Okay, it's hot. It's hot. Mmm. 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 Okay. Oh, yeah. That dough is pretty good. Okay. Okay. I mean, it's just a plain cheese pizza, but still. I mean, still hot. I don't think I'm going to wait 3 days to make a pizza while the dough ferments. But I tried it, and I like it, and I'll cut that up and separate it and eat it. Okay? Bon appetit, sisters!